So let's get started. I'll let you guys kind of explain to everybody who you are in case for some reason they don't know. So I've got here with me Ryan, who we're going to call Pike, and I've got Ryan, who we're going to call Ryan because his name is ThatOneDudeRyan on everything. Just in the order you guys are on my screen, Ryan Mills, do you want to start? And then Pike, and you guys can talk about who you are and let the people know.
Yeah, sure. So I'm that one dude, Ryan. I love whiskey. I love cigars. I love trying different things. Just to give you an idea, I started all my pages first on Instagram to kind of just tongue in cheek, bite my thumb at kind of the whiskey snobs of the world, not give everybody these wild notes of grandeur that you see in the world today with whiskey, and just kind of slam some crap, try it, enjoy it. But the fun part is I actually do enjoy whiskey, and I enjoy the artisanship of it, and I enjoy the science behind it, and I enjoy not just bourbon, but Scotch whiskey, Irish whiskey, Canadian whiskey, even though I make fun of it. And you name the whiskey, and I just enjoy having fun and trying it out. So especially that's Fireball, me in a nutshell.
Guys. He's huge into Fireball. So
if it was real whiskey, 33% alcohol by volume.
Propylene glycol deliciousness.
Cinnamon yummy yum.
Oh man. All right. Well, yeah. So that, I think that aligns with a lot of what we do here. I've gotten a little bit crazy with the flavor notes before. I'm interested to see when we do review this, how that goes. But Pike, I will let you first talk about your platform and what you do.
All right. So my name's Ryan. I go by OneBigPikey on all platforms. But my friends call me Pikey or Pike or MF or, I'll answer to just about anything. But basically, I started off on Instagram just featuring pocket knives and whiskey and beer. And I'm super into the EDC and whiskey community. Just as far as everyday carry stuff, man stuff. And but I started on TikTok when I was basically off work from an injury. And I used to post stuff on Facebook all the time. So I was posting funny beer reviews. And it was always alcohol-based content. And I did this Busch Light video. And I posted it. And I went to bed with 112 followers and woke up with 40,000 followers. And now I'm at almost 2 million. So my content is just basically kind of like Ryan's, just in a different style. I always did sinkers and drinkers, and which is basically just different Boilermakers with craft beer and whiskey and different cocktail stuff, just doing Boilermakers with that, just testing it out. And then I do mixies, and it was all based on just kind of just snubbing my nose to ridiculous, the bourbon snobbery. Honestly, the snobbery across any genre in any kind of whether it's tequila or Scotch, and dude, even in cigars, if you're smoking a cigar and you're telling me that you're tasting Pringles chips out of an Arturo Fuente cigar, I'm gonna slap you. I'm dude, what are you talking about? Kind of deal.
And so you don't want to be slapped by him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically my content is just supposed to be fun. Nobody should take it serious, but I always enjoy doing these kinds of podcasts. Ryan and I go live pretty frequently when we can. And I always feel accomplished when I get to do that, because I get to stretch my bourbon knowledge, and people go, "Oh, you just don't make jackass cocktail content. You're not a complete idiot." And I'm I tell you, my content's for morons, but it's fun. You know what I mean? It's fun to be a moron. It's it's great stuff.
Can't take yourself too serious, yeah.
Right, but my true passion is in, I really my true passion is, I just fell in love with bourbon. I fell in love with the culture of it. I fell in love with the history of it. I fell in love with just even like the love stories they put on the back of bottles, which probably 75% of them are just BS, man. But blow that smoke up my keister. I want to read about it, man. Give it to me. Give it to. I want to know that somebody rowed a boat across from England and fought 16 sharks just to give me their bourbon. Like, I'm into it, man. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, Elijah Craig did this, you know? And I'm like,
Yep.
dude, I love it. I love it. Like, it's romantic. It's just, you know, and most people don't get it until their first step into a rick house. You know, you walk into a rick house and you have a good tour guide that has a passion for that, and you can feel that. You can feel that. It's almost like Abraham Lincoln kissed you directly on the mouth. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. You
This
know what I mean,
podcast
right?
got weird.
Don't give me that. Follow me on my OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding.
So Abraham Lincoln kissing me, that's not a stretch, but tasting Pringles is a stretch. I don't.
Yeah,
We're mixing metaphors here.
You know.
Oh,
No, I think, I mean, and that's why I wanted to have you guys on. The unofficial title of this episode is going to basically be "Don't Be a Snob," and that's because you guys, both of what you just said, embodies something that gets confused very often. Okay, you can think of whiskey as this very romantic, delicious, artful craft without being a snob, and those two things get crisscrossed all the time. I get accused of being a snob because I romanticize and I talk about how artistic it is and how I like enjoying it. I don't drink it to get drunk all the time. I drink it to enjoy the glass of whiskey. And I get accused of being a snob all the time. And then there's actual snobs who will tell you that you have to drink it on ice. You can't drink it on ice. You have to drink it with water. You can't add water. All of the above, basically.
My favorite. The best way to drink bourbon is, and then you're like, oh God,
like,
here it comes.
Oh no. And then you go to the comments and you're like, ooh, this is brutal. Yeah, exactly. Or you're only going to get the real flavors and it's like, what? The real flavors? What are you talking about? I had a couple of videos about that because I was getting annoyed.
Right.
Well, I think, can we let's reach on that for a second or touch on that for a second too, because, you know, the three of us, I think, we don't do any kind of rage farming content on any of the platforms, right?
Right.
We try to be educational. We try to be fun. We try to be entertaining. That's 100% across the board. So it's hard for guys like any of us to go onto a website and be like, I could really rip this apart. It's really easy to be petty, but it's not easy to just be, okay, I'm going to sit back, relax, and watch what happens here. Like, let's try to spin this to something where we can be educational instead of being like, this guy's not right. He's absolutely incorrect, and don't listen to a single thing they say. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I used to, especially when I was bigger into the jokes and stuff. I grew up, you bust each other's balls. Like if I disagree with you about Ford versus Chevy, I might think they're both great trucks, but I'm going to bust your balls about it. And I used to post a lot of videos like that, like making fun of ice specifically, like having your whiskey on ice, because I like it neat, and I would do it as a joke. And I got those accusations like, you're trying to start arguments in the comments, and I was like, I'm just joking. Like, I didn't think people were going to take it the way they took it, but that's exactly how they took it.
So we're just going to gloss over the fact that for those listening at home and not watching anything, Pikey just grabbed a 175 liter of Evan Williams bottled and bond. It's not like, so Chris and I are rocking our 750 milliliters.
That's Pikey size.
And Pikey's got ours like our granddaddy of Evan Williams bottled and bonds.
You know, if you are watching the video, it kind of looks the same in my hand versus Pike's hand.
So, like, a lot of people, because I mean, talk about fanboy. There is no secret, man. I am a teenage girl to Justin Bieber when it comes to this. And I really feel like, and I know, yeah, big surprise. I'm going to get on my soapbox about this stuff. It is so undeniably good. And if anybody were to ever say, there's an argument for like Evan Williams Black Label where you could be like, oh, I don't really care for it. I would care for something like this. But if you were handed just a standard size bottle, like this bottle cost me $30 today, $30, right? And then like, I'm sure your guys' bottles were around what, 17, $20?
I think 20. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
mine was like 19.99.
So if you were like, here's $20, I'm going to give you a 100 proof, federally bonded, 4 years aged, and I know there was some controversy between like the single rick house kind of deal, like with Evan Williams, where they're like, why is there two rick houses on, kind of deal, like the labeling on it. But like, if you were to take the labeling off, put it in a blind bottle and just hand it to somebody and be like, hey, that's a $40 bottle of bourbon, they would be hard pressed to argue with it.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So like, I always feel like I'm stealing when I buy a bottle of Evan Williams BiB, because I always feel like I'm just getting a $40 bourbon for 20% off or 50% off, $20 off.
You're
you know what
literally
I mean?
stealing it every single time. It's just like, hey. But that's a good thing about Heaven Hill. Heaven Hill has some of the best bottled and bond whiskeys on the market today, and they're all majority under $30.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And people I know, like, talk about the snobbery in the bourbon community.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys hit this point in the bourbon community where they're like, that's mass produced, and oh, that's MGP juice, or oh, that come from Heaven Hill. Oh my gosh, we're not drinking, we're not drinking anything from Heaven Hill. Did you see how big their distillery is? And I'm like, yeah, but like, they started somewhere.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're that big is because they produce good stuff,
Yeah, and for the sourcing, the MGP, that's another one that really grinds my gears if they are being transparent about it. If it's like, that's just MGP juice, and I'm like, okay, but they tell you that, and it tastes better than other MGP juice that I've had. So, what's the problem? That's a big snobbery one, is you can't go with the big guys, and if it's sourced, get out of here. Then it's like, then how do any of these small guys, how are they even going to pop up if you have to age something for 4 years before you can do anything with it?
Exactly. I think what a lot of people don't realize, though, is in order to start a whiskey company, it's not easy, right? Mm-hmm. You have to understand that whiskey, for a matter of opinion, all right, let's just say bourbon, in a matter of opinion, is best over 2 years old, right? So the distillate coming off of that still, and sorry if I get too technical here, but the distillate coming off of that still has to go into a barrel, and it has to be matured for a certain amount of time in order for it to be deemed like enjoyable, right? Either that or it's going to be funky, it's going to be light, it's going to be bright, it's going to hurt, it's not going to be the atypical smooth that some people get into. Mm-hmm. So where do you start a craft distillery when you have no distillate? You source it from another distillery like Heaven Hill or Luxro, MGP, or even there's some big name Kentucky distilleries that will source their distillate out to people. You just don't know it because they make the craft distillery sign an NDA. So where else are they supposed to do that? I never turn my nose up to any random whiskey company. Hey, they're trying, right? They're trying to put something good out there. They think it's good. They like it. Try it out. If it's not your cup of tea, you'll hear it on my page. You'll hear it on everybody else's page that's on this podcast right now. If you don't like it, that doesn't mean that it's not good, right? If Chris doesn't like it, that doesn't mean that it's the worst thing ever. If I don't like it, doesn't mean that Chris or Pikey won't like it. So just enjoy the whiskey. Like, that's the main point.
Yeah. And I think the reason it gets a bad rep is because of what you mentioned earlier, Pike, which is some bourbons tell a great story on the bottle and it's so enjoyable. And sometimes that story it's running very parallel to the truth, but it's not quite the truth. This is my great granddad's recipe that MGP just so happened to have aging for the past 8 years and that I bought off of them. You get a little bit of that, and I get that. But like you said, if it's good juice and they're not lying to you, then you're going to hear about it. You're going to hear us reviewing it. And I like what you said. Maybe it's not for me, but maybe it's for you. I've been doing those videos lately. You should buy this because there's never, you shouldn't buy this. That's never the case, right. Almost ever. So,
well, I mean, I have a few bottles that I would recommend nobody ever buy, but I would never outwardly say it. That's the difference.
I will.
Well, look, when Pikey and I go live, we say all kinds of absolutely atrocious things that we probably wish we took back, but not really.
I know.
And like, I won't. I don't want to put out into the world like, look, I understand that this distillery has people to pay. They have people they have families, right? So like for me, it's not that I'm going to say I don't like this. If somebody asks me for my opinion, especially on a live, trust me, jump into one of my lives on a Tuesday night. It gets a little bit wild,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to sit here and not say it. I'm not going to go, well, I'm not going to tell you because I don't think you deserve that opinion. No, I'm going to say, in my opinion,
Mhm.
this is not good. Please don't buy this. Like,
Right.
so.
I just had that similar situation with two big brands. So I talked mad crap about Tito's vodka. And then I talked mad crap about Fireball. And people came after me in the comments. Right? But I come like if I'm gonna say it's terrible, I'm gonna come back with facts. And there's nothing in those two videos that I said in defending myself, and I kept everything respectful. And I also said, like in the Tito's video, I'm like, don't let me deter you from buying Tito's vodka, right? If you're going to buy Tito's vodka, if that's the best vodka you think there is, the best bang for your buck, buy it. If I'm at a bar and somebody offers me a cocktail with Tito's in it, I'm not going to be like, what kind of vodka's in there?
Yeah.
I'm going to say thank you, and I'm probably going to drink it, and it's probably going to taste good, But for my money, I'm just not going to go out to the liquor store and just get a big old jug of it and be like, oh, this is the best vodka ever, because that's what the commercials told me,
Yeah.
And I also came after Fireball, and I came back with facts on that. And most people were like, I had no idea they did all this crap. I had no clue that there was this, there's like these 5 talking points about that liqueur. And people were like, wait, you're telling me that it's not actual whiskey? You're telling me that, like, they have bad business practices and they false advertise? And I'm like, hey, man, like, all it takes is 5 minutes on a Google. You know what I mean? Like, the lawyers didn't come to me and tell me, hey, these are your talking points.
Right.
So
yeah. And that's about the worst thing that I'd ever say about a company is you're being dishonest. As a company, you're doing something wrong. And when it comes to whiskey, I think the worst review I'll ever give, and this might be a little different, is I don't like to ever say don't buy it because of the taste. I'll say the worst I've said is it was on this podcast. It was Tenjaku Japanese whiskey. I don't at all like the way this tastes. If you do, you're going to love it. Here's what it's tasting like to me. And then, that's just the truth. There's something out there for most people. Maybe it's not for the majority of people, though.
Absolutely.
No, I'm trying to see if I have it. I don't think I do.
Have you ever had it? Do you know?
I don't know if I've ever had it off the top of my head. Well, if I'm correct, that's a Nika style. The Tenjaku. I don't think it's like a Suntory style of Japanese, so it might be a little bit wild. I don't think I've had it on my shelf or in my glass.
It basically reminded me when I was in biology class of whatever they kept the rats in, that smell. That's exactly what it reminded me of. And
You're never going to go down a good road where it's like, it smelled like, do you remember when we were in biology class?
You're right.
Enough said.
Nope. Yeah.
That's
now, quite the opposite is something that is welcoming to the majority of people. And I think that's the strong suit of Evan Williams Bottled and Bond that we're drinking right now. Because it's just easy to drink. Like you said, $20. There are certainly $40 whiskeys that are worse than this. Overall, I mean, I say this about a lot of budget bourbons and a lot of under 25 that I enjoy. It tastes like bourbon and good. Like it checks those boxes, and that's what you want, really.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, this is the bourbon. If somebody were to come up to me and be like, "Hey, I'm from another planet. We heard about this thing in America called bourbon. What does it taste like?" This would be the first bottle I would pick and hand it to them. One, it's approachable. Two, I don't know I don't know how much aliens make, but I'm assuming, they could afford $20. And and three, you can tell them about, what bottle and bond is. There's factual history about that. You can tell them, hey, the same guy that this is named after basically helped build Louisville, Kentucky, all the way down. Like he helped do amazing stuff for America, and first illegal moonshiner, first mass production, bourbon in America, and like in my opinion, he would be the founding father. There should be shrines made of him. I told you I'm a fanboy. Like I'm getting one of my next tattoos I'm going to get is a portrait of Evan Williams on my leg. Like that's the level of fandom I'm at, man. I really love Kentucky to go down. Yeah.
It's that right there.
It's right
Give me
there.
Pike leg. How about that?
Yeah, this is going to be right on my leg, right there. It's going to be amazing. I'm just looking for the proper tattoo artist so it doesn't look like a blob in 4 years. But I think it's a great story, and I think that most people would hear that story and could, at least at bare minimum, they might not go out and buy a bottle, but after you hear it, after you hear somebody explain it, after you hear somebody explain how to taste bourbon, they could at least, at the bare minimum, appreciate what it offers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nobody watching us would do any amount of work if somebody approached us and said, hey, we would like you to work at this thing for 4 years. We want you to rotate stuff. We want you to make sure that everything's sealed. We want you to build a mash bill and cook it. And we want you to do that for 4 years. And then we're going to have the government come in and regulate it. And at the end of that, we're going to give you $20.
Right.
And you'd be like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? You'd be like, get out of here. Go pound salt, man. And these guys do it every day,
Oh,
yeah. So,
and I don't know if there are any, like, here's what I'll say about it being such a good budget bourbon, because I also like, have you guys had the 1783 from Evan Williams?
yeah.
It's 90 proof. It's not the bottled and bond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're like insanely similar. I did a blind and they're so close, but I like that one a lot as well, but it's also $2 more. Evan Williams bottled and bond at $20. I don't know if there's anything I can get at that price or below that I like as much as it. Off the top of my head, I can't think any. Ryan's got the gears turning.
So this is the thing. So I did earlier this year. I did a JTS Brown Slams and Sips because we don't get it here in Florida. We still don't get it here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a lot of the whiskey people online and a lot of the whiskey people around the world, bourbon people, I should say, around the world talk about JTS Brown. JTS Brown is delicious. Again, a bottled and bond out of Heaven Hill. So I was lucky enough to get a bottle of it thanks to an awesome follower of mine on TikTok. He came down from Michigan, gave me a bottle of JTS Brown, just like, here you go. I want to see you review it. So I reviewed it and I was like, wow, this is really good. People were like, yeah, but Evan, I think it was even Pikey, Evan Williams bottled and bond is better. Other people, early times bottled and bond is better. Old granddad bottled and bond is better. You get all of these like sub $25 guys coming out and saying, these are better than Evan Williams or JTS Brown or JW Dan. And I'm like, well, then let's go. So I did what I call blind verses. It's one of the many series that I do on Reels or on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And we did Old Granddad Bonded. We did Evan Williams Bottled and Bond, JTS Brown, and Early Times Bottled and Bond. But we did the Early Times Bottled and Bond Brown Foreman version.
Right.
And surprisingly enough, I got that bottle in Kentucky about 3 years back, and it cost me, I believe it was $19.99, the same amount for an Evan Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Williams came in third.
No way.
Evan Williams came in third. Early Times Brown Foreman came in second. And one of the distilleries that to this day I say to myself, I'm not a huge Beam fan, right? It's nutty. It has that like peanut shell note to it, like salty peanut shell. Old Granddad Bonded actually took first place.
No way.
So, and that was in a 4-way blind. All right. Imagine trying to do a 4-way blind and cutting it down to a 1-minute video.
Yeah.
It was a pain in the butt. But to this day, I still would put Early Times Bottled and Bond and Old Granddad, not the Sazerac version, so don't get me wrong, the Brown Forman version up against Evan Williams Bottled and Bond, and I'm telling you now, the three are delicious. And if you buy any of the three of them, you're gonna have a good night, right?
Yes.
But I think the Old Granddad and the Early Times Bottled and Bond just slightly edge it out.
Well, that's an acceptable answer for me because, first of all, Old Granddad Bottled and Bond is more expensive in Ohio, so I'm going on Ohio pricing. But the other thing is, I don't have the Brown Forman Early Times. Unfortunately, I've got the blue top. So that's an acceptable answer. And the JTS Brown, I've only got the normal. They don't have the bonded in Ohio. So I've got the 80 proof, which it doesn't have enough kick. It's 80 proof.
It's not the same at all.
It's not. No, it is not even close.
It's good. Even that is very good for how. I mean, it's like, I think I got a 1.75 for like $17 or something like that. I mean, it's crazy cheap. So it's good for that.
Oh yeah. Name a single thing from Heaven Hill Distillery that's bad, by the way. Anybody? Can anybody?
No. I was surprised to find some people don't like the 7-year too much, the Bottled and Bond, and I love it. I think it's great.
Wild, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I've noticed too is the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond 7-year and Henry McKenna. Those two seem to be where either you absolutely adore them or you want to drain pour every single bottle that you get. So wild.
The Henry McKenna, I actually just did a video where I wasn't a fan. But the thing about that is if you got the Bottled and Bond, it's single barrel. So it could vary. And there's a distinct acetone note in the one that I have that it was like all this sweet deliciousness. I even said, I'm like, this has a note of something that I love. And then it's just this like acetone on top of that. And it's like, ooh, that really makes it less enjoyable for me. But dang. I think you're right, though. It's weird that those two get hate out of all of them.
Right? Well, one used to be almost like, so Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond 7-year tends to be more easily accessible today, right? $50 to $60, $70, depending on what state that you live in. Henry McKenna is still a problem. Like, it's still an issue to get your hands on no matter where you're at. But again, there's a lot of swing between the single barrels. So I get it.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that single barrel means these are all from one barrel. I'm missing what you guys are doing on the screen. If you're doing something that I should
he's going back and forth between Old Granddad Bond.
I'm smelling this Old Granddad.
Oh, I only have one Glencairn to ride. I'll give it a whiff. But no, I think not enough people know that about single barrels, and that's one of the reasons they get disappointed. Because you can, if you're hunting for Blanton's, the scapegoat of single barrels, the archetype of overhunted bourbons, if you're hunting for it and you just are hearing all this great stuff about it, and then you get a bad barrel, that's going to be like the most disappointment you've probably ever had in your life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have 3 bottles right now of Blanton's, and they're all different barrels.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, people are like, "Do you have Blanton's?" Like, it's every question I get on my live. Do you have Blanton's? I'm like, it's great for $64 or whatever we pay for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're like, "Bro, yeah." My buddy paid $300 on it from a guy in a back alley, and I was like, "Well, you know." But I always tell people, like, if you can afford, like, if Bland's is like what you and your buddies fucking talk about all the time, right? And you're like, "Oh, bro, you know, Jeb's getting married, and he had Bland's one time when he got back from Iraq, and he's been talking about it ever since. Why don't we all chip in $50 and go down to the secondary market store, you know, in South Carolina, or, you know, even Kentucky does that crap where you're like, you have to buy $600 worth of liquor, like your normal liquor, and then you get a bottle of Blanton's for $60. You're like, what? You know?
Yeah.
But like, if you can afford to do something like that, if you can afford to go out and buy a $200 bottle of Blanton's, almost 90% of the time, whatever you're drinking, if you're surrounded by friends, if you're surrounded by a positive environment, man, the drinks are hitting tonight. The old lady kind of looks at you. She has a couple in her. She gives you that wink, so you know you're getting it tonight. That bourbon's going to taste better. It's
Is
just
the old lady
taste
Abraham
better.
Lincoln?
The old lady's Abraham Lincoln. I like the way his beard feels on my thighs. Anyway.
You know how to sell a bourbon. Let me tell you, that could be a commercial up until the Abraham Lincoln bit.
But you know what I mean? Like a lot of it's experience. A lot of it's experience. I've had so many like where I'm out and I'm like, holy mackerel. Like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's old Fitzgerald Prime. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, this is phenomenal. And they're like,
So good.
yeah. But like, we're riding four-wheelers. We and I'm not condoning firearms and drinking, but if we're target shooting or something like that, whatever it may be, music banging, everybody's having fun. You're 9 hot dogs deep on the barbecue. The kids are playing, man. That bourbon's going to taste better. It's just going to taste better, and a lot of about that is just the experience, who you're around, what's going on at the time. I've had some bourbons that I have never thought that I would enjoy, but you know what? When I'm standing in the middle of a rick house in Bardstown, Kentucky, and I'm trying that bourbon, I'm like, man, that's good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think people should allow themselves to be influenced like that. That's good. That's you're inspired to experience that flavor and just to let the environment engulf you and just be there. No phones, no bullshit. Just be there, man. Look at that barrel and notice it. This came from that. And you're like, wow, all this work, all this money, all this labor, so I can do this. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing. So I think that's where the difference between snobbery and non-snobbery kind of lies, right? Is that experiential kind of experiential, I guess you would say, situation, right? I've talked to multiple people where I'm like, look, I'm not a giant fan of Bullet. I'm never going to sit here and be like, Bullet's great. They make some good whiskey. Do not get me wrong, right? Don't come at me, people who are listening.
They might.
If they do, they do. But listen, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that I'm not a huge fan of some of their expressions. All right. But I have friends that are like, look, I have the standard Bullet. I spent $20, $30 on it. I had a drink with my father before X, Y, and Z, or, this is something that my buddy and I used to drink back in the days. That's just, it brings back that feeling of it, right? Of living in that moment. And then you sit back and you go, I get that. So that's why I would never say something is terrible or don't buy it in that fashion, because you never know who is out there, right? And the snobs are just like, I buy this $10,000 bottle because I have more money than sense. So,
dude, yeah.
Yeah, it becomes almost like a status symbol for some people too.
100%.
Just the buying it. But
absolutely.
You're totally right. And that's why okay, what's more romantic than your first sip that you actually enjoy of whiskey? And so that's one of the reasons I like Buffalo Trace so much. And I've told people, I'm like, listen, I have a huge bias towards this because when I drink it, it's like, this is my first time drinking a whiskey and actually enjoying it. My buddy hands it over to me. And I'm like, okay, I don't like whiskey. And I drink it. And I'm like, this is actually really good. That experience, or any experience, can make a whiskey way above anything else in that price range. And I think that's what you were getting at, Pike. And that's so
Absolutely.
true. And
Absolutely.
You get
Chris is a tater.
Yeah, I know, because I like Buffalo Trace. No, I have a whole series to try to convince people to buy other things than Blanton's. That's another one where it's, if you get a good, I think my view of Blanton's has always been a little bit distorted because I'm in Ohio. And like you said, Pike, we get it for $60. And it's like, if you get a good barrel, that's a good $60 bottle. That's like, I really enjoy it. But then you get these people in the comments that are like, I just paid $200 for it. And I'm like, well, I can understand why you're upset then. That's a 200, anything over $100. What's your dollar amount? I want to know from you guys. For me, it's like about $100, where after that, exponentially law of diminishing returns. It's like above that, you can really start to get from 100 to 200 is so different than 20 to 100 for me.
I agree with that. From 100 to 200 is way different from, I think that's leaps and bounds different. But I don't know. For me, I guess it's based off year statement. If somebody's like, hey, man, this is $140 bourbon. And then I go, okay. And they're like, well, it was aged for 17, 20 years. And you go, well, I'm not working any job for that long. Like I always compare it to like what I'm willing to do for like $140. And like, $140 is $140, but like I ain't working for no 17 years for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like I always compare it to that. I would say like when I started off with bourbon, and it's one of the reasons why I stay with keep with sort of that $40 to like $60 range. Now with my success on TikTok, I have a little more extra funds to like venture out. But
32 cents.
32 cents. Yeah. But it ain't much, but it's honest work. But yeah, like when I started, it was more of like if I were to buy a $40 bourbon, that was treating myself for that month. Like I was like, wow, man. I like my first bottle of Woodford, I was like, they're like $17.93. I was like, holy Moses.
Right.
Like this is fancy. It has a gold top kind of deal.
Yep.
So yeah, I would say like anything over 100, I start second guessing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be a little bit more of I kind of have to try it before I know exactly what I'm getting into.
That's fair.
I've had, I'm in the same kind of boat as the rest of us on this podcast. We've got a decent amount of people probably reaching out to us saying, hey, we want you to review our stuff. And I've had my hands on a couple of bottles that are just unbelievable. And they probably range within the $150 to $200 range. And it's been fantastic. So, what am I going to spend $200 on a Stag Junior? No, absolutely not. It's worth maybe $80. Am I going to spend $200 on a George T. Stag? Maybe. William LaRue Weller? Maybe. A Thomas H. Handy Sazerac? Never again. Right?
Really?
I'm not a huge Sazerac ryes are not my cup of tea, and I'm a rye guy. Like I love rye, but it kind of depends on what you're drinking, what you're enjoying. If you enjoy it, then pay what you want for it, but don't feed into this like secondary fair market value BS that a lot of people like to push. Is what I like to say to people. So
absolutely,
just enjoy what you enjoy, and if you're willing to pay a little bit extra for it, then do what you got to do, but. Don't get sucked into the hype on it.
Yeah. Right. George T. Stagg for me for $200, I would pay that all day long. That was 100%. The best. That was the best bourbon I've ever had in my life. It was when I had that, I was like, I've never tasted bourbon before. Like I was like, holy mackerel! Now, can you afford it? No, like I could never find it out in the wild, for a price that I'm willing to pay, and I've seen them go with secondary all the way up to $700, $800, which is way out of my price range, for something that I'm going to turn into pee,
That's one way of thinking of it,
and ultimately I know what I am. I'll probably drop a shot into a jar of tomato juice and, chug it. So
just don't be that douchebag that mixes it with like Yoo-hoo and then posts it on the internet. Those guys are douchebags.
Oh, they're terrible. Yeah.
Baiting the rage comments a little bit. Right?
Baiting the rage comment. Don't drink Sprite. Don't drink Sprite.
Most of those tater bottles I've never even got my hands on. I don't really try to. I'm like, if I do a review of that, how many people is that really helping? They're never even going to see it. So it's like, it's important to know for those who can, though. And I've I would like to, but Pike, you live in Ohio. You know what it's like out there, man. We're not
Oh,
we're not
man.
getting our hands on those bottles anytime soon.
People are animals when it's truck day.
It really
Well,
is.
Animals.
That's the wild part. So both of you are in Ohio, and
Yeah.
I'm down
Yeah.
here in wonderfully allocated Florida. So I can literally get my hands on almost anything. Granted, I'm going to pay something for it if necessary.
Right.
It has to be a completely different whale up in Ohio. The good thing is you guys are close to MSRP.
Yes.
It's
we're
usually
spot
never
on.
too far over.
No, we're
But-
spot on.
No,
And
that's perfect.
but like the taters in Ohio are a different breed of human.
Yeah.
Like it's the same group of 12 to 15 idiots, and they stand outside. Well, here's my problem with it. So they stand outside of a grocery store at 4 a.m. and that grocery store won't open up until 9, 10 a.m. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they all know each other, and they're all there for one reason: is to sell it on secondary market. So for somebody who's actually trying to get a bottle for whether it's a collection or for an enjoyment or a party or bar mitzvah or whatever you want to do, it's almost impossible. And then these guys will stand in line. They don't work. They just sell, secondary whiskeys. And they will stand in line and they all know each other. And then they talk about how much money they're going to get from a $60 bottle of bourbon or a $38 bottle of Eagle Rare, and they'll be like, oh man, I can sell Eagle Rare for $150 online. And, all their buddies are like, oh, it's a good payday. I hope I get one. And maybe they'll have E.H. Taylor, and that's $175 in my pocket. And then like, there's always like 2 or 3 dudes that just heard about like the whiskey truck, and they're like, you guys in line, they're like, grab a number. And they're so rude. Like most of them are rude, because it's their livelihood.
Yeah.
And like, you're drinking their money, and they don't like you for that. And it's the worst. I'm not joking. I watched 2 people at the Acme grocery store fist fight each other. Got both assault charges. There was 6 bottles of Blanton's available. They were number 12 and 13. They weren't even a thought. And they were beating the out of each other like they slept with each other's wives. And I just go, gentlemen, like, you never had a chance.
Yeah.
It's a whole different beast out there. And I have a love-hate relationship with it because I love being able, it's like a gamble that's free. Like, oh, I'm going to go at lunchtime and see if I can get a bottle. And if I can't, I don't spend any money. But the people you just described, Pike, are the big reason I don't like it, because you're right. I mean, if you walk up and they don't know you, they look at you like their dinner, like your dinner, because they all know each other. They're all here to make money. They don't want anybody else finding out about their stores, even though everybody knows about it. And it's pretty brutal. That's the worst part out of all of it. And then, once again, they're feeding into this secondary market that is gotten completely out of hand. And it makes it tough. The good news is if I get lucky, I get E.H. Taylor for $45. All right. That's not bad.
Absolutely.
But go ahead.
I was about to be like, you go ahead. But that's the thing that has to do with like the snobbery too, is because you literally triggered something in my head to say it, because the snobs out there want to keep their honey holes, right?
Yeah.
They want to say, this place is, and granted, I'm not dealing with what you guys deal with OHLQ and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with allocated stores. So there are, banger locations, and then there are just bust locations. So, and bust with a T at the end, sorry. So a lot of the times, especially in my area, my neck of the woods, the Tampa Bay area in Florida is a great place for whiskey. We have a lot of great retailers. We have a really good community here of whiskey drinkers and single barrel picks and just overall good places to go and have some really cool pours. But there are this group of what they would consider to be elites, and they're like, don't tell anybody about this place. Don't tell anybody about that place. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell my buddies, when E.H. Taylor Single Barrel goes on sale, and nobody needs to find out. Don't post it on the society pages. Don't post it online. Just keep it to ourselves. I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I tell everybody where I'm getting all the good bottles. You know, if you're coming to Tampa,
Good.
you go to these couple of dozen places and you're going to find out it's a good time. Now, what would you rather do? Would you rather, you know, have a drink with a guy that's like, let's just enjoy some whiskey? Or are you going to drink with a guy that's like, hey, don't tell anybody about this place. This is our spot only. Don't do it. Like, just enjoy it. It's there. Somebody didn't waste, like Pikey said before, somebody didn't waste, you know, 25 years being a master distiller or a master blender for you to just let it sit on the shelf, or for you to go and buy it and then flip it somewhere else for somebody else, for, you know, them to just let it sit on the shelf. It's meant there to be drank. It's enjoyable and to share it. So sorry, I went on a tangent.
No, that's absolutely correct.
Buffalo Trace does a great job supporting snobs, and they do.
I'm not going to say manufactured scarcity again. If I say it again, somebody else is going to take it.
But yeah, I mean, I was going to kind of bring it up, but like, you almost have to at this point. Like, if people don't start calling out the distillery, I mean, it's outrageous what they're doing. And then, like, I've been hearing it a lot more often since they've basically created that marketing scheme. But like, they're basically creating the secondary market. They're creating this. Oh my God, Eagle Rare is actual rare now. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a $30 bottle of bourbon. It's not. It shouldn't be rare. That should be one of their flagship bourbons. Like, you should find Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare on every shelf anywhere. You're one of the largest distilleries in America, and you're just adding another $2 billion to your rick house, and oh, look how successful we are. Oh, well, we can't make enough Eagle Rare, but here's some benchmark.
here's 6 new labels.
Yeah, here's Daniel Weller you'll never be able to see.
Yeah,
you know. And then you just go, yeah, nobody asked for those. Not a single person asked for those. And then all those taters get out there and they just get, just so happy. And half of them, they're just like, oh God, I'm going to get a bottle of Daniel Weather and sell it for $1,700 and, pay off my Chevrolet box,
Yeah.
It really bothers me. The more I think about it, it bothers me is like, because like I call out, I've called out, Tito's and Blanton's and, a couple other companies just for being just sketchy. But then everybody's like, dude, I don't care, man. I'm buying every Buffalo Trace product. And I'm guilty of it too. If I see a bottle of Blanton's for $60, I'm picking it up regardless.
Yeah.
Right.
They make good stuff. I mean, you can't deny the fact that Buffalo Trace makes unbelievably good whiskey. But again, to the point is like, do we really need to go out there and just absolutely oversaturate the market with people that want that product? The fact that like Eagle Rare has kind of become its own enemy, right? With the name Eagle Rare. And people are like, because it's rare. And that's why. And it's like, no, dummy. It's because it's a golfing term. Eagles are rare. So that's what it was there for. Like, and people go, oh, I never thought of that.
And if it was meant to be so rare, why is it a $35 bottle of bourbon? I mean,
right.
I'm sure you guys get the question all the time too. It's like, oh, how can I find these? And I always tell people, I'm like, I like to treat it as a gamble. I'm gonna go at lunch, see if I can get some. Like you said, Pike, if I get a $60 bottle of Blanton's, I'll pick it up. But don't hunt them. Don't worry about finding them. Don't be obsessed with There's so much other stuff on the shelf. I've been doing, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos where it's like, hey, buy these instead. Because it's like, there's so much out there. Right away, barrel picks and small distillers are the two that I've put in those last 2 videos. Both of those are like honey holes that so many people don't know about. That are going to, every once in a while.
You put Cooper's Craft. You were like Cooper's Craft.
Yes,
yeah. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's like, are you kidding me? It's delicious.
Yeah.
Like, it's good whiskey. Why are you not drinking it?
I just discussed Southern Star Paragon compared to Weller Special Reserve. People will literally slash your tires for a $24 bottle of Weller Special Reserve. And I'm like, have you ever had Southern Star Paragon? Because if you try that, Weller Special Reserve's good. It's good. But Southern Star Paragon that we just started selling in Ohio, I'm telling you right now, man, it's you taste that compared to most weeded bourbons, and you're going to be like, I've never had a weeded bourbon before until now. Like, it was mind blowing. When I tried that, I was like, holy crap. And I got it through a sponsorship. But like, I buy it here through Ohio now because I'm such a big fan. I was like, holy, thank you so much for sending this over. Let me try it. You know, I'll give you guys a shout out, blah, 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 blah. But then I tried it. I was like, oh my God, like, now this is a weeded, this is weeded,
Yeah.
And it's just, it's complex, but it's approachable. It's I hate the word smooth. I think that's been overdone.
Yeah,
it's so smooth. Well, what does that mean? But like, it's just an approachable, easy drinker. Yeah,
just do this, then you're good.
Smooth.
It's smooth. Put the air quotations up. But no, you're spot on, and that's the thing with like. There's a lot of people, like we were saying before, with craft distilleries. There's a lot of MGP stuff out there. For those that don't know, Midwest Grain Product or Ross and Squibb, there's a lot out there that's like that, right? Southern Star, made by Southern Distillers, they're doing their own distillate that is straight out of Statesville, North Carolina, right? And they've been ever since, I think, some of the bigger names on TikTok websites. I don't know what can be said here, but you can get them online, right? Pikey knows where you can get them. Chris knows where you can get them. I know where you can get them online. It's a great overall bottle to pick up. And especially if you can't get your hands on a Special Reserve or a 107, you can get a cash strength or you can get a standard, right? Southern Distillery does some good stuff. And that's, again, where if you're not a snob, bringing it back around, if you're not a snob, you're willing to look at these certain things and say, sorry, because I have a bottle of it right here. You're able to look at this bottle here and go, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll try it out. And this is their high rise stuff. I can't wait to get into that.
Nice.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, now that it's in Ohio, I'm gonna have to grab a bottle. I didn't even know.
Yeah, Southern Star is fantastic. Also, they're not in Ohio yet, but if you're ever in South Carolina, well, Southern Star's in Ohio. There's I stopped at a distillery and I've been just preaching about them. 1233 Distillery out of South Carolina. They're making. I owe you a bottle of their double oaked Ryan. I haven't really gotten an opportunity. 60-hour work weeks, but I'll get it to you. 1233 Distillery is incredible. Their double oak is some of the best double oak I've ever had in my life.
No kidding.
And I'm just like, and like we showed up, and I'm not joking. The distillery is attached to a Dunkin' Donuts, and I walked in. I was like, there is no freaking way this is going to be good. And I think I left with 7 bottles. I was like, they were so approachable. They were so nice. They were so informative. I kind of explained to them because like they saw me with my phone in my hand and they were like, oh, this guy's an idiot. And I was like, well, I have 2 million followers. So like, I'm not that dumb. And they were like, oh, hey, and they were very nice, very knowledgeable. And then like, they have a website. If you like look them up on Google, they'll ship them to you. They have a secondary shipper and stuff like that. And I'm not sponsored by these guys, but they're a small distillery. They just got federally bonded. And honestly, I think they're a sleeping giant. I think they're going to be very well talked about within the next 2 years. I think a lot of people are going to be like, hey, it's kind of like what Barrel did. When Barrel like first came out, people were like, I don't know about this bottle. And then everybody tried it and they were like, hey, this stuff's amazing. You know what I mean? So they're
Yeah,
doing.
I think everybody here loves a little bit of barrel craft spirits in their life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's seagrass, especially right now in the summertime. Oh my gosh, the fruit, the rye. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. And they're coming. Their batch 35's coming out. They have a
Yes.
new batch of rye coming out. Like they're doing some great stuff. So
Yes,
That's
they
amazing.
are. I do want to bring it back because I promised the people a review, even if it's just looking at the camera and going, let's try out this Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. I'm out again, so I'm going to add a little bit to my glass.
oh no,
Fill it up.
I
Fill it up and shoot it.
don't know about that.
Just straight off the bat, for those of you watching at home, I love saying that. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Look at the color on that. That's a $20 bottle of bourbon. Like, I mean, you can't deny the fact that that is a wonderful amber. It's got a nice gold ring on it. Look, we're doing the snobby thing. We're going to get real cool.
I get a hint of
Observing the legs.
Let's swirl it. Let's look at the legs on it. Oh,
And
yes,
for anyone
it's
who
so nice.
doesn't know, you can't color bourbon, just to make that very clear in case anybody didn't realize that.
ooh,
Yeah, we're not Canada or Scotland or Ireland.
Everywhere
or
else,
anything
basically.
Well, technically, in the United States, you can still do like 2% on American whiskey.
Right.
Just not bourbon. Bourbon, you have to be all natural.
Mhm.
I get hints of Tesla motor fumes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We went immediately for it. We went right for the jugular. So for me, I'm gonna bring this train right back on the rails.
All right.
So for me, this is a quintessential on the nose. It's a quintessential bourbon, right? So we can all say the same things. We're all gonna say it too. Vanilla. You get the caramel. You get the cherry notes on it. The one thing that I love about Heaven Hill is there's this nice sweet muskiness to it, right?
Okay.
It's almost like
Thank you.
it's like a dusty wooden rick house. If you've ever been in one, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, please, for the love of God, get to a dusty rick house.
Get there.
It is so. It's a nice smell. Okay. You also, for me, I'm gonna talk about something else. You get a little bit of that brown sugar note, right?
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy. And this is just on the nose. Like we could pull apart all kinds of different flavors. But I'm gonna shut the heck up.
No, I honestly I couldn't agree with you more, and I'm glad you brought up that there's like this unique Heaven Hill, and it's just a touch. It's not a lot, man, but there's a funk.
Yep.
And that funk is like, I mean, I know this is going to sound snobby, and I'm going to go off in way left field.
Do it.
It's
Jeez.
almost like the same way like how blue cheese is.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Don't do that to me.
there's a funk to a blue cheese, right?
Don't do that to me.
You don't have to like it,
Don't
But
ruin
you-
this for me.
but you you know the smell. You know
No,
the smell.
I get it. I
Yeah,
love
and
blue
then-
cheese, by the way.
Yeah. So like you smell that and you taste a little bit of it, you go, ooh, that's weird. And then you give it a minute, and then you're like, I need to taste that again.
Yep.
And then you kind of grow to love that. So I'm glad you brought that because it's so unique and it's so Heaven Hill.
And it gives it
You know
something.
what I mean?
It gives it something else. It gives it a dimension because it's not just like, oh, this tastes like you said, Ryan. This tastes like vanilla caramel and barrel. Like it gives it a little bit of a dimension that under $20, under 25, it's really hard to come by. I mean, we mentioned some of the best, but
Right.
those are the exceptions. The rule is vanilla and barrel. I mean, that's
And
what you're getting.
ethanol.
And
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of ethanol.
It's like, oh, that smells like grain alcohol. Ooh wee. It's going to
Yeah.
get me drunk. This is not one of those types of things. I mean, it will get you drunk, but it is not one of those types of things. It's one of those that you can kind of sit back, relax. And if you put your nose into it, I mean, I'm just going to say it. I nose things for way too long. Like I'll
Same.
nose it for hours on end.
Mhm.
This, you can get that nice, like, sweet royal icing instead of just,
Yeah.
it's vanilla. It's royal icing. It's got a hint of like milk chocolate in it, but it's that funk is quintessential Heaven Hill.
Yeah. And I also like if you try it, and then so like I smell everything. Like if you anybody who's ever seen my content, I'm constantly putting the bottle up to my nose and sniffing it. And you know, there's a reason for that. It's because my sniffers really. Oh, Get it, boy. I have a very sensitive nose. So like, whatever. I'm not going to go out on an ADD rant, but sorry. Sorry, I cussed too. So
No,
I
it's
apologize
okay.
for that.
It's okay.
But no, essentially, I had MRSA in my sinus cavities like a few years ago, and they had to like basically spray out my sinus cavities. Well, one of the side effects from that is I have really bad allergies, but I can smell everything, like intensely.
Like
you
colors.
know, I can smell colors. I can smell, people that have to fart but haven't farted yet. So no.
Jesus.
Wow, that's a good one.
I'm like, you're not about to, and they're like, no, I feel fine. And then I'm like, give it a minute. But no, what I like about the smell is that quintessential Heaven Hill funk, if you will, that little bit of mustiness. But then I always get on the back note when you taste it and you kind of bring that, breathe out, kind of bring that scent up. I always get that dark, dried, like dark, dried fruit on like the back of my tongue. Mm-hmm. And it's something that's not forward on it. Like when I first drink it, I don't get it. I just get, the royal icing oak, vanilla caramel, your standard bourbon. Mm-hmm. But then after you drink it and you just kind of go, whew, and then you get that nice hint of just, ooh, what is that? I don't know if it's a date. I don't know if it's a cherry. I don't know if it's a craisin, but I like it. And it makes me happy when I taste that. And it's right on the back of my tongue. And I can't tell if I'm tasting it or smelling it, but it goes hand in hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's like a can of Pringles that's been open for about a week, between 6 and 8 days. No, I'm not. No, you're absolutely right though, and that's a complexity.
Perfect callback.
You don't. Thank you. I have to bring everything full circle here at the end. That's a complexity you don't get very often in this price range, and that's one of the reasons this is so good. It really is, and that's one of the reasons if you're a snob, you miss out on a lot of really good things that are $20. You could. 10 bottles of this for a bottle of Blanton's in most states, I think, something like that.
That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is a wild thing. I'm one of those guys that I would much rather have 10 bottles of Evan Williams Bottle and Bond than I would one bottle of Blanton's.
Yes.
I would rather have like 5 or 6 bottles of something other than just Blanton's.
That's fair.
Don't get me wrong. I love Evan Williams. I mean, I think I'm on my 15th bottle in my entire lifetime. So 100%. Why waste your time spending $150 on a bottle of Blanton's when you can go and get 15 other bottles?
Just about every bottle we talked about in this episode for the price of one bottle of Blanton's. Every budget bottle that we talked about. Yeah, exactly.
Oh God. That's wild to think about.
Not just. I don't want people to think though that we're just crapping on Blanton's. Though there's a lot of, and I'm going to go out maybe a little rage farming. I think Angel's Envy is one of the most overrated bourbons, whiskeys. I don't care. I'm not paying $100 for it in any sense of the term. Also, Whistle Pig is good if it was like $20 cheaper across the board, but I'm not paying $140 for a bottle of Boss Hog. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
I've had it. I don't think it reflects $140.
Yeah, I can't speak to the Whistle Pig because I haven't really had their stuff for that reason. I will say I'm a little bit of just the plain Angel's Envy. I'm a little bit of a fanboy. I don't know if it's because I had it early on. I love it. I haven't had the rye though, which is the real expensive one, so I can't really speak to that.
The rye's amazing.
That's what everybody says. That's what everybody tells me.
So
you
good.
Take that back.
You don't love or hate the rye?
The rye?
No. So this is the thing. The finished rye is it is my Christmas drink.
Oh.
All right. So let me explain to you. This is what I get from it. And anybody that's listening or watching or Pikey can 100% tell me I'm an absolute, I'm trying to be good here, idiot. But I get gingerbread. It's a gingerbread explosion when I drink an Angel's Envy rye. I don't have any more of it because it's all gone. But I enjoy some of the
Christmases.
finished. Yeah, a lot of the finished stuff that they have over at Angel's Envy is pretty decent. I wish the prices were a little cheaper, but
Mhm.
I'm a fan of Angel's Envy.
My thing about Angel's Envy, because I actually just had Wes Henderson on to talk about that a little bit, and my thing is putting it in the context, not to make this a whole Angel's Envy episode, but putting it in the context of at the time. I mean, they really blazed a trail that wasn't there very much. The cliche of the port finished bourbon wasn't a cliche yet. They made that, and that's the big thing. But I get what you mean. I mean, the price tag is up there.
Yeah,
there's no
I'm
doubt
not
about
saying
that.
it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying Whistle Pig's bad. I'm saying that
I will.
it's good. It's just not good at the price point.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
You
You're
know what I
absolutely
mean?
spot on. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're spot on.
There's a lot of that. Yep.
Yeah,
You're telling me you're not going to go buy the Pit Viper?
No, yeah. Should I?
Go get the Pit Viper Whistle Pig?
I can't speak to any of their products because the price tag just scared me away. Now, to be fair though, then you've got like Barrel, who at first scared me away, and then I bought one and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is worth the price tag. There are some of those out there.
Which batch?
Oh, it was the Seagrass for me was the absolute.
Oh, so you
not
like
the
Seagrass,
batches.
okay.
I've had batch 33 and I have batch 34, which I enjoy. But the Seagrass was the first barrel product I bought, I believe. And it was like, let's do the price tag,
good.
whatever. Oh my gosh. So worth
It does not drink like a rye at all.
No, it's so
it drinks
different.
it almost drinks like a rum. Like it's just so sweet and delicious. So trust me, I know. I have a couple of different I got my Barrel Craft Spirits corner over there with all the freaking I love Barrel. Even their 24-year Canadian. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent again. Good stuff.
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up with something I always do for the folks.
There you go.
Who we pointing at? I do always read what the notes of the distiller tells you, because I like to think my review before is the unbiased review, and then this is the here's what they say, just so people have kind of a basis to go on. And it's pretty much what you'd expect, especially for this one. This is a $20 bottle. But on the Evan Williams website, it tells you that the nose is caramel with vanilla and hints of barley, which is interesting. Almost maybe that herbal, not herbal. What's the word I'm looking for? Maybe a little bit. I always think it's a little bit bready, which I should have said earlier. It kind of reminds me of, it's like a breadiness. Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. But the taste, then it says on the palate, citrus on top of vanilla and black pepper. I personally wouldn't say citrus. I think what you were saying with like the dates and the other, darker stuff, Pike, was closer than citrus.
Citrus? What am I drinking? Buffalo Trace?
Yeah.
Ooh,
when I drink it, I
call
just
back.
think oranges.
Yeah, I citrus from a bourbon for me is pretty rare.
I've gotten citruses in scotch. Now that's
what I was
citrus whiskey of life.
Now
Right
Ryan
there.
is holding Jameson Orange, which is his favorite whiskey, actually.
I hate you, Pikey.
Right behind Fireball, Ryan's favorite's Fireball, but then behind that is Jameson Orange.
No, the Fireball is over there in the trash can.
In the trash can.
Oh, the Jameson's Orange will give you
But
the worst
that's-
hangover of your life.
So wait, they say notes of citrus.
That is what they say. And this is why I always disclose to people, don't take it for gospel. But yeah, citrus, vanilla, and black pepper. Okay, there's a little bit of pepperiness.
I get a little bit of the pepperiness, yeah.
Yeah. I don't agree with the citrus. Citrus for me is like monkey shoulder. Monkey shoulder is citrusy. Glenmorangie 10 gives me a little bit of citrus. Not Evan Williams bottled and bond. It's not a word I've ever used to
I get
describe
citrus
this.
from like Singleton 12 year. I don't know if I've ever gotten a citrus note from a bourbon.
It's pretty rare for me.
I get a lot of citrus notes. Like I get a very faint citrus note with Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
All of their Buffalo Trace stuff.
Oh.
So we could probably do this off the podcast, but I can go through the different, like what I get. I call it a string. There's a string between each distillery that helps you distinguish what distillate you're actually drinking. Buffalo Trace, you get that like sweet citrusy note to it, but I don't get citrus on this at all.
Yeah. It doesn't give me a lot of citrus. I would
No.
disagree a little bit with that. More towards the dried fruit, the dates,
100%.
Those heavier types of flavors for sure. But that's what they tell you, and now you know. For those listening at home, now you know what they say you should get from it. But I think the
Definitely
go ahead.
take our word for it. Don't ever listen to the distillers.
Don't ever listen to anyone but us.
Right.
We are the authority on all. I can't
Yes.
keep a straight face. I'm sorry.
We are the end all be all. And if it doesn't taste like Pringles, don't buy it.
Yes.
Only buy Pringle bourbons.
Sour cream and onion Pringles.
I was always the pizza ones. Those were so good.
Jeez, you show your age on that one.
I show my age being what? Is that those new ones?
Pizza Pringles, man. Those didn't come out until I was like in high school.
Well, I started this podcast out of college, so pizza Pringles were part of my childhood. Maybe I'll legitimately give that to the patrons. I like to give them a bonus content, pulling back the beards. That's what it's gonna be.
Do that. We only charge you one bottle of Bottle and Bond.
There you go. That's worth every penny of $20. My size of bottle, not yours.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, this is a normal size bottle. Guys. I don't know what
yeah.
you're talking about. I got tiny hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you don't realize is just OneBigPikey is actually very small pikey.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is actually a 1 ounce bottle.
Yeah, that's an airplane bottle right there.
Yeah, I'm a midget.
He's 5'1".
Right. Oh my gosh. Well, I think in conclusion, it's safe to say that this is one of, if not it's one of the best bourbons in its price range. And it's so worth trying the cheap things. I say it all the time. People who listen since the beginning probably sick of hearing it, but trying the cheap things to figure out what you like is the way to go. Sticking in that $20 to $30 range till you know what it is you like. That's, in my personal opinion, that's the best way to go. Thank you guys both for coming on and talking about this. This has been a blast. We will for sure have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Before we're done, in the order that you're in on my screen, this is just because you're in this order. Ryan and then Pike, if you guys want to let them know your social medias one last time, and I will put them in the description as well.
Oh, so hi guys, I'm ThatOneDudeRyan. I have 2 million followers. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong person. I'm ThatOneDudeRyan. So hit me up anywhere, anytime. I am on literally any social media platform that you look for, except for there's one there. Instagram, TikTok, Clapper, Threads, Twitter. Just check out the link in my bio. You don't have to worry too much about it. I'm an idiot, so go ahead, Pikey.
Hi, I'm OneBigPikey. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. I do have a ton of followers on Facebook, but it's basically posting and memes. It is what it is. It's just if you like memes, follow me on Facebook. I make wild cocktail content. We do sinkers and drinkers and mixies, and we do all sorts of stuff. And then we flex our big bourbon minds and actually share knowledge on my lives and discuss all sorts of fun stuff. But if you're into a good time and don't take alcohol or any sort of things too seriously, and you're just here for a party, you don't take it seriously. You know what I meant, sir. Give me a follow. Drop me a follow, and we get on there and we try all sorts of crazy stuff, and we use just only spoons to mix our drinks with, and
only spoons.
It's a fun time. Only spoons.
A glass rod, so it doesn't affect the flavor at all.
I've seen you use a Barbie.
I used a mermaid yesterday.
You're gonna run out of things in your house.
Not with a kid.
Well, that's fair. Constant
There's
influx.
no way.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I will put your guys' stuff down in the description as well so people can find you. Thank you guys once again for coming on. This has been fantastic. Like I said, we're going to do this again for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Whiskey Noobs. If you need more Whiskey Noobs content in your life, make sure you check out our Patreon page in the show notes. And if you like the show, please make sure to leave a 5-star rating or review. It only takes a couple of minutes, and they're way more helpful than people realize. If you want to do tastings alongside the show, make sure you join the email list by sending an email to whiskeynoobspodcast@gmail.com with a subject line that says email list. You'll receive monthly emails with a list of the whiskeys that will be featured throughout the month so that you can buy them ahead ahead of time. You can also find more Whiskey Noobs content on Instagram at whiskey_noobs and on TikTok at Whiskey Noobs Podcast. Once again, thank you guys for listening. The Whiskey Noobs Podcast does not support underage or otherwise irresponsible consumption of alcohol.